What's up, everybody? This is the Tech Preacher, and in this video I want to do a comparison between the Moto G Stylus and the LG Stylo 6. Now, both of these devices is pretty comparable, but they do have a lot of differences between both of these devices, and I'm going to give you the cold hard truth about what I think on both of these devices. Should you pick up either one of these phones in 2020? Let's find out. Sit back and relax and get your popcorn ready and follow me on this journey. Let's go. What's up, guys? This is Eric back with another video. So I got the Moto G Stylus and I got the LG Stylo 6. Both of these devices is trying to get your mighty dollar in 2020. Which one can reign king supreme when it comes down to the mid-tier market? Let's talk about it. The specs, right? Both of these devices have different specs and probably almost the same price point, which we're going to talk about in this video. Let's go and talk about it. The LG Stylo 6 has a 6.8-inch 1080p display. Huge display, huge device. We have the MediaTek Helio P35 processor with 3 gigs of RAM. We got 64 gigs of internal storage. We have SD card support. We got a 4,000 milliamp battery in here. So let's talk about these cameras on the back. You have 13 megapixel lens. You have a 5 megapixel wide angle lens, and you have a 5 megapixel depth sensor. Also, you have a 13 megapixel front facing camera. All in all, the specs on here is okay, but we're gonna talk about some of the huge differences with the LG Stylo 6. But let's go on and talk about the Moto G Stylus. You got a 6.4-inch 1080p display. You got the Snapdragon 660 processor in here with 4 gigs of RAM. You got 128 gigs of internal storage SD card support. You have also triple cameras in the back. You got a 48 megapixel lens, 16 megapixel lens, and a 2 megapixel macro lens. You got a 4,000 milliamp battery in here. Also, you got a 16 megapixel camera in the front. So when you talk about the specs on both of these devices, on paper, the Moto G Stylus specs is a whole lot better, and because you get more storage, you have a high megapixel camera, and you have a high megapixel front-facing camera, and all the bells and whistles, right? So when it comes down to it, you have more bang for your buck when it comes down to the specs on the Moto G Stylus. So let's talk about the design on both of these devices. Now, the LG Stylo 6 is huge. I mean, you got a very huge device, and I'm gonna tell you that this phone is absolutely gorgeous. So when you pick this phone up, you see how beautiful this phone is. And that's the most disturbing part about this phone, is that when you pick it up, it feels good, nice, heavy, and solid. It looks good, and I mean, it looks so premium that it's a mirage in so many ways. But the phone looks good. It got a nice little heft to it. You have all the bells and whistles. You got a headphone jack, USB Type-C. You got dual speakers. Again, it is a beautiful phone. But I tell you, one of my most disappointed devices of 2020 is this phone, because it's so beautiful. And if you could get past some of the other issues with this device, this phone here is absolutely amazing when it comes down to the design. But the Moto G Stylus is no slouch. Again, this phone is absolutely gorgeous too, with its nice, beautiful back. I love the way the cameras are on the back here. The design on here is nice and premium. Again, it got a nice little heft to it, but it screams quality. So when it comes down to it, both of these devices is beautiful in its own trait. But if you like large devices, then go with the LG Stylo 6. But the Motorola G Stylus is a very compact, beautiful phone. And I'm gonna tell you that when it comes down to it, it all depends on your flavor. So let's talk about performance on both of these devices. On the Moto G Stylus, you have the Snapdragon 665 processor with 4 gigs of RAM. On the LG Stylo 6, you have the P35 processor with 3 gigs of RAM. And I'm gonna tell you right now that the processing power and the performance on both of these devices is night and day. I'm glad that Motorola put the 665 processor in the Moto G Stylus, because it screamed good performance. And I've made a couple of videos about the LG Stylo 6, about the lagginess about this device. And it's true, guys. This phone is very laggy. The performance of it, I mean, even when you're going with the fingerprint scanner, it is very slow compared to the Moto G Stylus. I mean, look, I can harp about performance on both of these on the LG Stylo 6, but when it comes down to it, that to me is an ultimate deal breaker. The performance on the LG Stylo 6 is horrible. And let's go on and show you some stuff here. Let's go look at benchmark tests here. And I'm going to show you guys. Look at this, right? When you look at the benchmark tests on both of these devices, the Moto G Stylus with the 665 processor is double the performance on the LG Stylo 6. And I'm going to give you a reference here. I'm going to get a OnePlus 6T, right? This phone is 3 years old. And for reference, let's talk about it for a second, right? And I want to show you guys one little thing here for reference. Look at the benchmark test on the OnePlus 6T. It's miles ahead on both of these devices. And when you look at like devices like the OnePlus 6T that's running Android 10 and all the bells and whistles, one may ask why even buy both of these devices when you could get a 3-year-old phone that's still getting the latest and greatest operating system and still getting security patches for, you can pick it up in the used market for about $200. So one may ask the question, why even buy any one of these devices when you got a high performing phone and you get a lot more bang for your buck, you get a better display, you get better cameras, and all around a quality device in the OnePlus 6T. But for reference in this video, I just want to show you guys that looking at a 3-year-old device of the OnePlus 6T is miles ahead than both of these devices, just so you know. But when it comes down to performance, it shows, and I want to show you guys, I'm gonna open up a game here, and I want to show you guys some of the woes that I'm seeing with this device. And let's make sure everything is shut down here. And let's go ahead and open up a high-end game. And I'm gonna show you guys some of the performance issues that I'm seeing with the LG Stylo 6. So let's open up a game and boom. Okay, as you can see, the game opened up fastest on the Moto G Stylus, but that's the point. Like, you know, even if you don't play high-end games, this is some of the performance woes that I'm seeing on the LG Stylo 6 is that, you know, with every app, it's not just games, it's every app is lagging out, going back to the home screen and everything in between. When it comes down to performance, it's not even close. So let's talk about the displays on both of these devices. As you know, 6.8 inch is huge compared to 6.4. But I want to show you guys some details. I'm gonna play a YouTube video, a 4K video, so you can look at some of the detailed characteristics with both of these devices. So check this out. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm playing 4K video on both devices. And as you can see, that both devices is clean, man. I mean, the displays look really good on both devices, and you really can't give an edge on either one. I tell you that the LG Stylo 6 with the huge display can have nice viewable content, and it looks really good. So if you want to have a content consumption device, watch plenty of videos, the LG Stylo 6 is the device for you because the colors is nice and rich and vivid. I like the way the colors is on the LG Stylo 6. It looks really good compared to the Moto G Stylus, but the Moto G Stylus also have a beautiful display. As you can see, both displays is absolutely gorgeous. And even when you turn them like this, and let's go ahead and do this, okay, and got my little mat moving. All right, so when you're looking at it, both of them is really good here. All right, so when looking at both of these displays, I can tell you that both of them looks really good. Looking at 4K content, you can't go wrong with either device, but I really do like the LG Stylo 6. It's a huge device, plenty sharp. The display looks really good, so I like the display on the LG Stylo 6. But the Motorola G Stylus definitely has a very beautiful display. Okay, so let's talk about the cameras on the back of here. All right, so 48 megapixel camera, 13 megapixel cameras and stuff like that. Both of these devices have triple cameras, well, quad cameras on this device here. So you got quad camera setup here, but on the LG Stylo 6, you have a triple camera setup. And I'm gonna tell you again, they're not the best, but I would give the huge edge to the Moto G Stylus because the cameras is better. It's overall better here. And as you can see, I'm showing you some footage here with both of these devices. And in my opinion, the Moto G Stylus cameras is a lot better. Still, photography is okay on both devices, but video is better on the LG Stylo 6. The front-facing camera is not that great on none of them, but it's a whole lot better on the Moto G Stylus than the LG Stylo 6. All right, so when it comes down to it, the cameras, the edge, a huge edge goes to the Moto G Stylus. And let's talk about some of the unique features that both of these devices bring to the table. It's a stylus. Okay, so right off the bat, the LG Stylo 6 has the better software. They've been doing this for a while. So to start, the software on the LG Stylo 6 is going to be better. Now the pen, I mean, that could be less to be desired for, but it has better software than the Moto G Stylus. The Moto G Stylus is a, you know, I mean, the software is pretty much nothing. I talked about this in the video, but I've already downloaded some third-party software for my Moto G Stylus to kind of give it some more perks. But the software that's on here, it's just the Motorola software, and it's okay. I mean, it's nothing here. You can't do anything with the included software that comes with this device. And that's a shame. I mean, you can't even put lines on here. You can't do it's no features involved with the apps here that's included with the device. You have to use third-party apps on the Moto G Stylus. But you don't have to do that with the LG Stylo 6. You don't have to do that because the included software is rich, it's intuitive, and you can do a lot of things here. So with the LG Stylo 6, you do have better software when it comes down to the pen and the pen software. So when it comes down to it, if I had to pick as far as the pen software, I would go with the LG Stylo 6. So let me give you my conclusion with both of these devices and which one I would recommend to you. Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you, 100, right? I've used both of these devices for weeks, and I use them as a daily driver. One of them was very frustrating for me, and one of them was good for me. Let's talk about the LG Stylo 6. The LG Stylo 6 is a beautiful design device. It looks premium. When you pick this phone up, it's heavy, it's bulky, it feels good in the hand, it screams premium. The 1080p display on here is very good. The Stylus software on here is very good. You got dual speakers, headphone jack, but that's where it ends. The performance woes on here is a complete deal breaker for me. I used this device for 2.5 weeks and it was frustrating using this device as a daily driver. Look, man, opening up apps, you can go get a cup of coffee and come back. Closing apps gives you false touches because you're trying to close the app and the device is thinking about what you want to do. The performance woes on this device is less to be desired for and a complete deal breaker. And one of the huge factors that I don't like about this device is in the camera app. Look, man, we talk about comparing both of these devices. This phone does not have 4K. This phone does not have 1080p 60 frames per second. And in the camera app, you have no features at all. So this device here, just be advised that it's going to be very slow. You will not get any camera features or enhancements at all. Now, maybe LG will do some updates with this device and you might get some of those features down the line. But with the performance on here, I don't know. The still footage as far as the camera is really good, but I don't know. But let's go and talk about the Moto G Stylus. The Moto G Stylus is a great device. The 1080p display on here is really good. The 665 processor with 4 gigs of RAM, it gives it a nice, good, beefy performance. I don't have no issues with performance with this device. When I use this phone, it ran like a champ. It has a beautiful design, and the cameras on here, you do have 4K. You do have 1080p 60 frames per second. So when it comes down to it, comparing both of these devices, yes, you do have all the enhancement and features that you know and love that Motorola always bring to the table. Almost stock Android and everything in between. You do have your Motorola features as far as chop for the flashlight and stuff like that, and twist for the camera to open. The performance on here is like night and day compared to the LG Stylo 6. This is a better performing phone. And even when you talk about the camera, the still footage on both of these devices about what, but when it come down to video, you can forget about it. The Moto G Stylus is a better video recorder. Even with the front-facing camera, it's better than the LG Stylo 6. But overall, my pick will be the Moto G Stylus in this competition comparison, because the Moto G Stylus give you better bang for your buck. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. This is Eric from Easy Computer Solutions. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about the LG Stylo 6 and the Moto G Stylus in all its glory. See you guys on the next video. Peace.